So we are going to be talking. What are we doing? We're doing the episode 7 to what?
7 to 10, season 4.
Which would be what arc is this, Taylor Field?
I just call it the Darkness over Umbara arc.
Is that what you call it, or is that what it's actually called?
Might actually be what it's called.
Okay, so funny enough, the first episode is Darkness on Umbara. While Anakin,
Look at that.
Well, yeah, it's like our Stitcher promo code, Geek First. Maybe we're not even with Stitcher anymore. They might kick rid of us, but if not, go Stitcher because you can use their promo code. Get them on the free. Darkness on Umbara. When Anakin was forced to temporarily turn over command of his clone troopers, the 501st Legion, to the new commander, the Jedi Krell. Tensions begin to run high as the clones are assigned with a very deadly mission to take on the capital of Umbara. Other than some alien names, I think I did not a bad read
Did
there.
you say Pond or Pong?
Pong?
Okay, I thought you said Pond Krell.
That's his brother, Pond Krell.
Yeah.
So this is an arc that Taylor's been, and so yeah, we're gonna do the next 4 episodes. So episodes 7 to 10, if you're ever following along, or if you want to go back and watch them. So this has been arc. So we took that little break, and Taylor's like, "Oh, I can't wait till we get to it. Can't wait till we get to it." So I'm like, "Oh, some exciting stuff's gonna happen." Now, I'm going to talk about this one, but kind of all 4 because this is a big arc. I do actually really like these episodes, but as I'm watching them, I do go, oh man, this is classic Taylor, who just talks me up, and he forgets that I like different things in Star Wars than he does. So this is really warfare heavy. This is if you love Rogue One, this is,
Ooh,
yeah. So
Ooh.
I should have remembered because we hadn't recorded these so long. I'm like, oh yeah, this should be good. Is Maul coming up? Here we go. Some Yoda action. No. It's just a bunch of just this really one-off story that has nothing to do with the rest of the canon because we'll get to it, but something, well, I'll spoil it. At the end of the 4th episode, the main villain dies, so it just kind of goes away, So it's just a one-off. I really liked this episode. I'm trying to think which ones I like. I think I liked this 7 and then maybe 10 the best, but yeah, this one was just great. I think there are episodes that do need it. What is that episode I really like because we've gone so long? It was season 1. Is it called Wolfpack or something like that? When it's just
the Rookies, isn't it?
Rookies, yeah. So this reminded me of this, but then graduating. So I really liked that. All the warfare stuff is really good. There's some really good battle scenes. I got some notes in particular that things shut up, but really, really liked it. And I liked the mystery of, okay, what's going on with Krell here? What's his deal? Where I got to finally see that, that dark ray, vision lightsaber that's going on. So, which I did hear someone say that they think it is a vision because when she has that stick, that's why she's envisioned herself having a double-bladed lightsaber. And then when they said that, I kind of got crushed. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
That
probably
is crushing,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Because we were like, oh, why would she think of that? And it's like, oh, so that was a cool weapon. Yeah, I really liked this. This was a great setup episode, some good battles. So yeah, I did really, really like this episode.
When I first saw this, it completely caught me off guard. I was not expecting, the brilliant choreography of the battles, when they're landing onto Umbara and just how intense it was, and then dealing with the shadow people and all that. And I remember actually when Clone Wars was still premiering on TV, and I remember seeing, I think, the Cartoon Network commercials for Clone Wars, and it was the guy talking you ever had that substitute teacher you really don't like, you really don't get along with, and it showed General Krell, and I'll never forget those commercials because it just reminds me of that so much. When I'm watching this arc, it just bothers me so much how Krell is and how he's so controlling, and he gets results, but he has the highest casualty amount out of any other Jedi general, and it's fine. He's his own kind of.
I don't know. That's not fine. That's not fine.
No, well, that's
up
if
for
you're a
debate.
clone, it's not fine for sure. But I mean, he gets the results, and I always found it intriguing. Okay, these clones are coming up with different ideas and improvising. Because they worked with Anakin for so long that their plans could work really well. But General Krell is just so against it and everything, and that carries on throughout all the episodes. But some of the scenes and stuff that they've done are just great. I love the action. I love how they're dealing with the wildlife and stuff like that. And I love how it really flushes out the personality of the clones. This is where it really hits me how much I love Fives. He's just my favorite go-to clone, and it's just great. And
my favorite clone is Boba Fett.
That's your favorite clone?
That's how much I know the clones.
Oh shit. Yeah, you didn't even know. Well, spoiler. You didn't even know about Waxer, which I'll have to point. Well, I did point out about Waxer too.
Well, I knew he was a clone, but I just didn't know. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
You, and this is where it might become different. You're like, that's one of the biggest, most Clone Wars series. I was like, whatever. This guy who has a few dialogues. I'm not as connected to the clones as you are. Did you have more? You were
No, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know when I want to talk about Krell because he's an interesting character. So I think I'll wait till we get to a few more episodes. I mean, like when we're reviewing this, not in the actual, I'm not going to not talk about Krell. So I'm trying to think. Let me pull up my notes here. My thing is, so it's tough because I don't want to forget something because you kind of said a statement there. When you said he's known for having successful missions, but a lot of death rates, right?
Yep.
Why is it just because it's tough because I don't know how to say this without getting in the spoilers of the episodes. But clearly, so and I will talk about this now
because he sees them like as expendable, because they're clones. They're not actually the same as like living things. It's like if you go back to like season 1, episode 1, where Yoda is like telling the clones to take their helmets off, and he's saying, each of you have your own personalities. You may look the same, but you're all different. And Krell is the complete opposite of that.
So, but that's my question is, so I would understand that, but at the end of this series, and I will just talk about it now, at the end of these 4-parters, he's talking about how he's doing this because he's had visions that kind of the evil side's getting rid of him, right? The dark side. So he's kind of helping them out. So to me, it shows that, all these people are dying because he didn't care about them, but it's because he's wanting them to die, where he's not always been like that, right? He's not always wanting them to die.
No, I think at one point he was probably a little bit more easygoing, and then as, the war progressed further on, I think it probably started to hit him. He started to have these visions, and obviously it's not like Palpatine was waving a carrot in front of him, luring him over. We
don't know.
Well,
it is the Palpatine.
It is the Palpatine. I think it's just in that sense where they there's some, and you'll without spoiling it, there are more circumstances to come where you're gonna see, like Pong Krell, they're gonna be tempted by the dark side because
see Pong Krell back. We're gonna see Pong Krell back.
No. I'm just saying similar scenarios because it's just this war has corrupted what the Jedi are standing for, obviously, and just the Jedi are now losing sight, like Pong Krell, and more to come.
Classic Jedi Pong Krell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he's just an intriguing character, and I don't think he always was like that, where he's sacrificing and killing his troopers and stuff like that. But I think he, even then, it's kind of similar to like if you look at like the Force Unleashed, you have General Coda, who didn't want to use clones. He wanted to use people because, for whatever reason, he just didn't saw clones as being less superior. And that's how he evaded Order 66.
So my question is, how... Obviously, I guess he had these visions, and I guess it's always... Wow, you knocked over my mic when you moved over there.
Oh, shit.
Be careful with your mic, freehander. You got the mic that never turns off, so it's very touchy. I don't know why we did that. Did he actually... I guess he had a vision, yes? Do you think did he have a vision, or was that perpetrated by somebody?
I don't think it's perpetrated because this is a one and done story arc.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I'd say, it's you can have a screen door, a mesh screen, or a mesh screen window, and you can open up your window, to let the fresh air come in. But every now and then, a bug is gonna squeeze through or tear through like the mesh in the window and get in.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
What bugs are you dealing with at your house?
The worst fucking kind. Just the pong kind.
They're just like the Outrider. Oh my god. They're just like the Outriders in Infinity War. They're just like breaking themselves.
Kind of like
those
that.
are the bugs that you have?
Yeah.
I don't have those bugs.
But the Palpatine has put down this whole curtain and this mesh, in the window, and the Jedi have the window open because they're trying to get through, and they're trying to keep their minds open. But Yoda's like, the dark side clouds everything, and that's that screen mesh there or whatever. And sometimes, a little bug creeps through the mesh, and that's Pong Krell having his vision or whatever. And it's just kind of like, even though there's a curtain, sometimes there's little holes in the drapes and, parts bleed through, and certain Jedi pick up on that. And Yoda knew there was a curtain there. The other Jedi were obviously very oblivious, and Pong Krell just kind of obviously caught wind of something or had some moment.
He's pretty crazy there at the end, to be honest. He looked like he had lost his mind.
Oh, he was turning to the dark side full on. I loved every second of it. I thought it was great. And
I liked it for the most part.
One of my favorite scenes in Clone Wars history. Like, I won't I won't say it until we get to that episode, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's tough because these ones are they're really linked. They just feel like one big movie because it's like if you put them together, it's like an hour 20, so it feels like just a long anime movie. So it's hard not to talk about them. In this episode, things I'll show you. I love the visuals. At first, when they're landing, what is the planet called?
Umbara.
Fuck me, right? that would make sense. I really liked the planet visually. I like the darkness. I like all the red tones going on. I loved they were just like swooping around the ships, like the camera, like the cinematography and the animation, as far as like just shots of Anakin with all the clone troopers and just the colors they were using and the blasters, just everything. It felt very cinematic. I really like that. I've noticed that these past few, I'd say this and then the next episode we're gonna review 3 episode are some very more kind of cinematic. It feels a bit more grander animation, where in the past it's felt a little cheap at times. So it still can feel like that, but these episodes really felt like that. Some good shots.
These are the episodes of Clone Wars that made me want to get a sound bar, because when you turn that that volume up, the guns firing and the explosions. Oh Jesus!
Yeah, there's lots of war going on at the beginning when Anakin lands. It always is. Obviously, they are great Jedi, so I understand. But I always just wonder if you had like 50 troops just look down at Anakin and shoot at the same time, like. He's going to die, right? Because there's just one moment where he's walking with his lightsaber. I understand he's very powerful. He's going to be in use. But when there's just so many bullets going back and forth, it's just kind of like, well, what can you do at that point? And I get it. Plot armor, he's not going to get killed or anything. But don't you feel like it's a very dangerous place sometimes? And like in a full-on war like that, like I know it happened in Clone Wars as well, but it's just it is pretty risky for them at times.
Oh, it is risky. Obviously, it's if Anakin died in the Clone Wars, he doesn't get to be, the Sith apprentice to Palpatine. That was,
what a shame that would have been for the galaxy.
It's like the internship or orientation. You gotta get through the Clone Wars, then you get the job.
I think we've had various conversations about this, but I think in a different light, we've talked about like, what happens if Qui-Gon didn't train him, but hang on, I like stuff like that, like if he did train him, blah blah blah. What do you think Palpatine would have done if like Anakin did just, let's say, somewhere on Umbara, Anakin just got shot in the head and he died? Like, how much would that? I don't know, Order 66 would have still happened, but like that still would have changed quite a bit.
100%. He probably at this point he would have eyeballed Padme's twins.
No, let's say Padme's not, because Padme's not pregnant at this point, right? In Umbara. I don't think so, right?
It depends. Does it say how many years the episode is before? Like, because there should be a way.
I don't have that.
You could pull up Pong Krell and on Wikipedia see when his death date was, and it'll say like 19 or before Battle of Yavin.
I will look up if you.
And then we can scope it out.
You can talk more about this episode or stall while I try and find Pong Krell.
Okay, so let's say for now twins are horizontally placed.
She's not pregnant.
I would say he's got contingencies. This is Palpatine. He's got contingencies for
this is a big one for him, though. He's really hoping he's going to get Anakin Skywalker. Oh, right?
He is. This whiny bitch. This is his ace in the hole. But he's still got Dooku. He's still got Grievous at this point in time, so he's got assets. If he wants, he could hook up another Darth Maul or find anher Darth Maul. Yeah, he could find another little kid and train him to be a Sith, I'm sure. But
it doesn't really say on Wikipedia, Star Wars fandom. It doesn't have exact death date. Sorry, fans, I was talking about Mike. It doesn't have that
for Pong Krell.
Let's see. Maybe I'll click on the Battle of Umbara and see if that gives us a time. But anything else to say on this particular episode?
Just visually, it's just awesome. I love how it feels aesthetically, and I love the shadow people. It's funny because they're also mentioned in my Thrawn book, so that's probably another reason why I love them. They're just such a cool alien race, and they're made out to be just super tough and rebellious, and that you just can't beat them. And it was nice to see a different enemy that's not droids this time. This was just like it's hard to wonder, like, okay, are these people aligned with the Separatists? Are these people their own just rebel faction defending against the Republic wants to take this place as like a fortified position against the Separatists, but I'm pretty sure they were aligned with the Separatists. So
so it says it's what is it? It is 20 BBY, and technically they say it's year 1 before the formation of the Empire. Sorry, fans, I keep not talking.
It's 1 year before
the formation of the Empire. Yeah, so she's not pregnant yet because it's 9 months, but it is in prime season.
It is prime season.
Yeah.
So after this battle,
it is always weird because I always hate in Revenge of the Sith, which we have commentary tracks, which you go back and check out, that when we bump into her, she's pretty pregnant. And like he's touching her belly all the time and no one calls him out on it. So yeah, she's not pregnant at this point. So yeah.
maybe he slept with her and then he went to Umbara and he hasn't been back since.
I doubt it because I bet we still have some episodes of Padme
right.
like jumping around. Yeah. So and still a year. You got to think there's still 9 months before that. So technically, this would be 3 months before she'd get pregnant. So we should keep a lookout for that in future episodes. These next episodes have to be within 3. Well, I guess. Well, she might not know, but in like once we have that 4-month thing, she better not be running around.
So we have 3 seasons that are now. I mean, it's the 7th season. We're gonna see pregnant Padme, right?
You'd have to, because I think they've said, because there was rumors saying that it was just showing some unfinished episodes, but some people said they're going to take us right up to Revenge of the Sith. So that which I'm excited to see. And the other thing I'm excited to see, I hope, in The Mandalorian, because just even stuff like this, so it says like fun facts and statistics, conflicts happened during the Clone Wars, Chancellor, Sheev Palpatine, then head Count Dooku. So Count Dooku was pretty much running this planet, right? And obviously, I do not think in The Mandalorian we're going to get Umbara, but that would excite me, and we kind of seen that a little bit in The Mandalorian, like, what happens now with Count Dooku being dead, and then what happened to Umbara now? Like, what is that planet? If like Palpatine gets thrown down a ventilation shaft by Vader, who's running it? I guess it goes back to the rebellion for a little bit.
Well,
but
it would probably go back to the people, because I mean, like when Dooku died and the Separatists fell or collapsed, if I remember correctly, in Thrawn's book, he was sent to actually go there. I think it was either him or someone else, but he was studying like Umbaran art or whatever to go there and like stop a rebellion of the Umbarans because they were like really like throwing the Empire down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but I don't know what happens after Sheev took a fall there. So
I hope we get some juicy stuff like that in Mandalorian, because it's 6 years after Return of the Jedi, right? So is it 6 years?
I can't remember.
But it's after, so I'll take a look after. Other things, I just said Andy gets fucked because he just gets sent back right away. And and then I felt that classic Clone Wars, Anakin gets on the ship and then you see Krell evil eyes into the camera, and it's just like, man, this show could never be subtle when there's a traitor or something like that. I'm like, I wonder what the deal is.
You thought he was a traitor? You didn't think he was just a jerk?
No. This show always does that. Whenever I'm just like, I am at that point, I'm like, oh, what's the deal here? Why did Anakin get back? Who's this guy? And then he's like, does his vicious look in the camera. Oh, because he's a bad guy. Okay, cool. And then the other note I had, and this isn't a big con, but they get ambushed a lot. Like, it's literally
they do.
Every set piece is just like they talk and then get ambushed, talked and then get ambushed. Any other thoughts on Darkness on Umbar?
I just love when they were dropping in, and the walkers were just dropping out of the gunships, and just there was this whole fleet of them coming in, just going at it, and all the clones. I love seeing the clones jump off the gunships, and some of them get popped right away, and others just go and duck and cover, and it's just crazy good.
Crazy good.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if it's what Krell says in this episode. I know he does in the next, but it's just kind of like he has this line where he says like, we must push forward and use all of our resources and like take the capital. Like he's just so like headstrong. Let's go right into open fire and just die. That bothers me.
It bothers you.
Bothers me.
What'd you rate in this episode out of your thumbs?
What's the rating system again?
Wow, it's been that long. It's just one thumb, half a thumb, no thumbs. Thumb down, 2 thumbs up.
Oh, 2 thumbs up, 100%.
Okay, I will also give it 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. The next episode, The General. General Krell orders Captain Rex and clone troopers of the 501 Legion to conquer a heavily fortified uranium air base.
Wait, did you say uranium?
No, uranium. I just tried to say it fast so no one would notice, you bastard. Umbarium air base, and will not accept anything less than victory. It's almost certain suicide mission unless the clones can use their ingenuity. Ingenuity. Good job to the field. You can show he's still in school and I'm not. To defeat their new enemy. I liked this episode, but this episode and I feel like the next one I think there's a world where you could have put this one and the third one together. I don't know if it needed to be 4 because the first one's the setup. And then the next episode is kind of like, I don't know if we can trust Krell. And then the third episode is more, they're starting to do stuff at the end of the episode, but it's still just like, I don't know if we should trust them. So I think they could have cut it, but it still worked. It wasn't a bad episode, but I think this episode for me was the weakest because it was just a lot, and it was still good stuff. I'm just talking about compared to the other ones, it was just a lot of Krell would say something like, should we do that? Yes, because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the clones stand back a little bit and they go, oh, I don't know, something's wrong with this guy. And they do that a lot. And that's the thing with it being either they had to stretch it out or kind of being sometimes more of a kid show. Still liked the episode, but I think this was the weakest out of the four for me.
I'll agree with you on that. I'm trying to remember. Was this the one where he pulls his lightsaber on Rex for not listening?
I think so. Does he actually ignite it, or does he just...
He ignites it.
Oh, yeah, he does. And then he just like steps back and it's like, oh, this guy. And that's right away you can tell, okay, this guy's not all there. Something bad's going on. So
I love that. That's such a good moment when he's trying to like make a point, and it's like trying to make a point with a police officer. Like, let's say
what is this situation?
Let's say we're both, or I'm a cop. And you're like my cop sergeant. I'm trying to make a case with you for the remaining cops, and then you just pull your gun and point it at me, and you're like trying to enforce your command.
That's
a
good thing. Hopefully, in our system, that person would be punished. You can't just.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In the Galactic Republic, it's a very different story.
Oh yeah, the rules are all over the place. Yeah, I honestly didn't write many notes on this because, like I said, that was pretty much the whole episode. It was just more setting up. Okay, they can't trust him. He's shady. He's doing some stuff. You got more battles in the episode as well. But like I said, the weakest one. So for me, I would give it a 1 thumb up.
Yeah, I'd probably still give it 2. I liked how they went on. I know.
So I liked every episode in this 4 is 2 thumbs.
Probably.
Up. Wow.
I just love the whole arc. But I love in this episode when they go down to the road and they deal with those like centipede tanks or whatever. Those are pretty cool. Yeah. And I love how they sent like the 2 guys managed to sneak into the supply base, get the ships, and come and offer that air support, which is super cool. And Krell, again, he's like impressive or whatever, like, most impressive. And that's cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Plane Dissent. After the Republic conquers the Umbarian air base, General Krell orders Rex and his men on towards a heavily fortified capital. Realizing there's a better plan, several clone troopers, 5 Jesse, and Hardcase. Who the fuck calls himself Hardcase, and who names himself Hardcase? That's a porn star name if I ever heard one. Disobey orders to carry out a rogue covert operation. So same thing, like it's a spoiler. I like the first episode in the series most, and then the last one, same thing. I like this episode. This was kind of setting up the actual plan. I think there was like a little too much comedy for me. Sometimes it got in that Clone Wars of just like them driving the ship and everything like that. Like they got a little too cheesy for me.
They were getting excited.
Oh yeah, they were. I did like at one point when stuff's going awry, they kind of throw out a nice tribute to Han Solo.
Oh
he's
yeah,
like, nothing's out of control down here, and then he says the line. What does he say back to him? Just like, are you sure? Or whatever. Like, we'll send someone down. But that was fun. A little tribute. But yeah, this was the same thing as the first one. That's why I think they could have been combined, because this was a lot of the clones standing around being like, we can't do this. We shouldn't do this. We'll die. I have a plan. Should we do it? I don't know. Should we do it? We could do it. Let's go downstairs and do it. So that's where I liked the episode. This is a spoiler. Thumbs up for me, just 1. But like I said, the comedy was a little meh, but I liked the setup of it. I just think, again, it could have been shorter or combined, because that we didn't get anywhere new other than this. Just we still can't trust Krell, and because even then, like. So you set him on a mission, and he says, we're doing this, and they go, it's a suicide mission. Even the first episode is very much like, should we do this? Because we might all die. And he's like, oh, we'll do it. Obviously, it works out for them, so it's fine. But it's kind of the same thing again, where it's like, I want to do a suicide mission. And they go, I don't know if we should do it. And this time, instead of doing it, they say, enough is enough. So you kind of get that growth for the clones to be like, we're not listening to this guy fully anymore. But other than that, just a solid episode, but nothing earth-shattering. And nothing as memorable as the first or the next one. So
how do you feel about when they are flying up to the supply ship? Like, I love that scene. I think that's a great nod to Phantom Menace, blowing it up from the inside. But how do you feel about them in this very exposed little bubble cockpit? And they get seen by the droids, obviously, inside the ship. But I feel like outside, when those Umbarans, fly in behind them, I feel like they would have noticed. But
yeah, so my problem sometimes with the clones altogether, one, is still their fucking face tattoos. I hate them all. I got reminded about that. So dumb. 2, I sometimes feel and I think it's just for the animated series, I think they make them a little too cartoony, then they try to make them personalities, but they make them not as smart as they should be, because I don't think them just being like, oh, Master Skywalker once said he drew a ship in there and it worked, so we should do that. I just think these guys are supposed to be top of command. I don't think, in my mind, what the clone troopers are designed to do would take a risk like that. They would not do anything unless they knew if they you could say, oh, it's just like that ship Anakin was telling us we could do that. But then that one clone, I don't know which one he said, but just to kind of guess and like, oh, Anakin said he did that, so maybe we could do that. And that didn't really work for me. Obviously,
I'm surprised. I feel like that'd be a pretty sound plan. If you have enemy ships and their enemy hardware and codes to get like clearance in, you could easily get into that ship. And
but they
blow
don't
it
know.
up.
But they don't know that's a fact, right? They're just taking it and saying, "Oh, because Anakin Skywalker."
But
said he did
that's a very controversial point about this arc is they always believe what the Jedi tell them, right?
I guess so. I can see what you're saying there. I just think that's like they're almost putting themselves on a suicide mission. Because what happened if they go in there and they're like, oh, it doesn't work like that at all. Like, we can't blow it up from the inside. Then you're just dead anyway. So it just felt like I kind of get it. Maybe they just didn't want to do the plan that was for sure suicide, but I wish they made them a little smarter, had some more evidence to go do what they were doing, other than, oh, Master Skywalker blew this up when he was a fucking 10-year-old or whatever. And it's like, okay, like it worked, and obviously this really touched Taylor because we lost 5 apparently in this. And
No, 5. Oh, fuck. That was Waxer in the next episode.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Fives,
next episode? Okay.
Fives, that's a different story.
Oh, right. They just created the plan in this episode. Right? No. They do the plan, don't they? Don't they go up to the ship in this one? And then
In this one, they go up, yeah.
Yeah, and then doesn't one clone have to jump off and he's pushing something?
Oh,
in
yeah.
there?
That was, who was that? That was Hard Case, I think.
Hard Case. Okay, so he didn't die there. How did what's his name? Because I watched a bunch of. How did Waxer die again?
Waxer, that was in the next episode in the Crossfire.
Oh,
when they
right.
got the truth out of it, which I'm not going to
Right.
spoil till we get to the episode.
Oh boy. Yeah. So like I said, I would give this a thumbs up. Like I said, could have been one episode. Some good development. Like I said, a little comedy and maybe some kind of you kind of have to put on your this is a cartoon brain, which I don't like doing, but that's what it is for me.
2 thumbs up, easy 2 thumbs.
An easy 2 thumbs up. Let's see. The last episode we'll be talking about here today is Carnage of Krell. With 2 of his men, 5 and Jesse, facing execution for disobeying orders, Captain Rex is forced to confront his overly aggressive commander, General Krell. In the conclusion of the action-packed battle for Umbara, risking charges of mutiny. There we go. Rex must make a dark choice as the true face of the enemy emerges.
It's going to be Carnage.
Oh boy.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I
super good.
I saw a shit movie. Can't wait for Tom Holland to be in Venom too. Can't wait. Yeah, I really liked this episode. It was a good finale. It was the kind of heel turn I was waiting for Krell. I did like the setup of. Taylor, you can talk about the big twist in it and how they find out that Krell is a bad guy, but I'll talk about once I find Krell's a bad guy. I love the actual scene of him hunting them all down, and it's very scary. Very, I guess, it kind of shot well, animated well. I don't like that he's always laughing a lot.
I fucking love it.
He's just always like,
I want a ringtone of that.
And it was just very cheesy because at one moment they're just like, Krell, where are you? And he's like, and it's like, okay, here we are in cartoon land, which, like I said, I don't like to be in that land. I think cartoons can be above that. But cartoon land, same thing as like comic book land. Sometimes things get too comic book, and that's what this is. Just felt too kiddie at times, but it was a super strong episode. I loved the episode. It was lots of fun. It got really dark near the end, and I love that there's that big choice made at the very end, but I'll save that. Taylor, what do you think about this episode?
This episode blew me away. I love it. I love how everything Krell just kind of unfolds. I love it when they I think it's sad when Waxer dies. It's very sad. But when
love it. It's sad. It's so sad.
When they're shooting at each other and he fools them, saying, the Umbarans stole clone armor and just, go out there. They have your tech.
The enemy
and
might be dressed like us.
Yeah. And, it just goes to show how the clones just follow orders without deferring or anything like that, which is a great, foreshadow again to Order 66 and just how they'll listen to an order no matter what. And they won't think for themselves really in that regard. But when it's just Rex figures it out and that whole revelation happens and he realizes that they're killing their own men and he's just running and he takes his helmet off, like it's just that score kicks in, very different from season 1 score. It's so good.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah, I would say that season 1 had some hiccups, but I think even stuff I've heard in Rebels, I think the guy's name is Kevin Kline that does it. He does really good Star Wars scores, and I think because I was listening to playlists and not too long ago, and someone put the TV show in there, and it's really good. I think he's better than so far what they've had for the movies. Even I like some stuff in Solo. Rogue One is not the greatest score.
It's a
No,
beautiful
Michael.
score.
No, I don't think so. Especially they said he only had like 2 weeks to work on something. They knew it was not a good score. I'm not a big fan of Michael Giacchino's newer work like that. And what is it, Spider-Man? I like some tracks. I'm gonna be really disappointed if he put the chimes in the War for the Planet Apes.
Travis hates chimes.
So no, they just gotta be placed right. So I'm getting quite worried that I think he's gonna be scoring the Batman, and I don't want that. So I like him, but I think Kevin Kline does some good stuff, and I think everything about this scene was great. I don't love it as much as Taylor Field, just because I just in context don't love or in principle don't love the clones as much as you do.
Clones.
I don't hate them. I just don't find them as cool as you do, because I think they're just kind of like just characters. If they're not in the movies, I don't care about them that much. I can grow to love them, but they'll never be as much as movie people. And the movies, they're just nothing. But I liked the weight of this episode, and I think the reveal was done very well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love it when we get that Revenge of the Sith kind of nod, or it's like it's treason then, and he's just when they go up to,
which is a weird nod because it hasn't happened yet. But I guess the Han
It
Solo
is a
thing,
weird
the Han
nod.
Solo thing is weird too. I guess because it hasn't happened yet. So there you go.
But it's just fantastic when the clones go in there and they're slowly circling around Krell, and he's just got his hands behind his back and he's looking and he's talking or whatever, and Rex is like, explain yourself, and he's just playing coy or whatever, and then when he just whips out his 2 double-ended lightsabers, the sound is so cool when he's swinging those around. It just sounds intense. And when the clones, the battle commences and the clones are going in, he's just, I don't know. I love this scene and I give the clones credit, but why the fuck would you even try? Do you not see what he has? And I'm amazed, and I think it's great that they took him down. It shows how they can improvise and they can adapt. But
Or it shows he sucked.
I don't know if it really showed he sucked, because he definitely took a lot of them out. When he jumps out of that window or whatever, and he says I will not be undermined by creatures bred in some laboratory. Super sick line. He jumps out quadruple billion fucking front spin and lands.
That's the problem that I think with that's in the continuity of Star Wars, where we just talked about how maybe not all of them are like Anakin, but Anakin in one episode he's in a massive war. There's bullets everywhere and he's fine. But some of the stuff that happens in Revenge of the Sith, like Order 66. They get taken out by 3 clones sometimes, and it's really you guys have fought so many wars, and I know you're gonna say, oh, it was by surprise, they didn't see it coming, but it's I don't know, it's hard to believe. So that's why it's just are these guys really good, or does Krell really suck? Because at one point he pushes them all back with a force push. That was really cool. But man, the clones just took him down. And
the only way they got him was with that alien that Krell was not anticipating. And plus, I think he was pretty high on himself at that moment, because he was laughing.
Yeah, he was laughing a lot.
I love it
too much.
I love that part. Like you said, it was very scary when they're you can hear the noises on their comms of the clones getting killed and stuff, and
one
then
by one.
You can hear he's just talking echoey, you should have listened to your soldiers. They were right. I was using you or whatever. I just love that woke kind of thing happening with Rex and
woke. Wow.
Yeah, and then
woke Rex.
It's just a super cool scene again when that creature grabs onto Krell, and it's flinging him around, and that score kicks in, and he's defending the lightsaber bolts as he's cool, flailing about, which still, that's impressive on its own as a feat, but yeah, it's super, super cool. I love it. And then I just love the revelation when he's in the the jail or whatever, and he's just talking about how the Umbarans will be here soon, and they'll take this base, and I'll be free, and then I will go with my I think he says new master, doesn't he? Yeah, because he's already got high hopes. He's
he's Anakin's replacement plan. If Anakin doesn't work out, Krell Emperor's tapped him. I'm gonna tag you in. Don't worry. Why did that clone? So at one point, and I really liked it that they have him in prison, and which one is it? Is it Rex that's thinking about shooting him?
Yeah.
And then there's a guy in the back that shoots him. Why does he go to prison? Because he shot Krell?
He's very mentally unstable. I don't think he's going to prison. I think he
was handcuffed.
Because I think he was supporting the clone or supporting General Krell through most of that, so it probably is going to lead to him just kind of being overlooked and examined to see if he's ready for duty again. Because if any scenario where a clone kills a Jedi, it's you're going to handcuff the person and you're going to talk to him. Even in this case scenario, and this is where Order 66 really comes into play. And I don't know if this is the canon version or whatnot anymore, but how it was looked at is Order 66 is basically something that Jedi were aware of. It's basically an order that can be executed in the case of like General Krell, where there's Jedi that might defect or they might fall to the dark side throughout the war or feel compromised. Then it gives the clones the ability to act on that by arresting them or executing them. And that's why I love that scene when Krell's like egging Rex on, like, you can't do it or something like that, which was super crazy good. But this just flushes more stuff out for like Order 66, and it flushes out more of like Rex's character as a whole, and kind of leads to why, obviously, spoiler not spoiling, in Rebels he yanks his inhibitor chip and you see him in Rebels as a defector or whatever. So yeah,
gotta watch that Rebels on Disney Plus, I guess. If it's there, it better be there.
It better be. I need to watch it.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say about Krell? Because if Rex would have shot him, they would have locked him up too for a little bit.
I think no, they might have cuffed him and just questioned him, probably to debrief him, because it's pretty big to kill a Jedi.
So does that guy that shot Krell, is he going to end up like a janitor, like that defective clone?
No, probably not. I don't think so.
Poor guy.
But they have to, it's the clone's words against
True.
Obviously Krell at this point, and I think it also is cool because in this scene, not only do you have just the 501st Legion, but you have the 212th Battalion, Obi-Wan's Legion, or battalion, and you have Anakin's Legion, which is super cool. And
very groovy.
I wish Cody was in this episode, because that would have been 3 thumbs up. It just would have been perfect.
It's illegal in some states. And then the other thing I liked too, at one moment, he had like a Bane moment where he just took a guy and picked him up and broke them over the knee.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He's a powerful guy. He's in a lot more shape than Dex is.
Oh, yeah. Dex is like his, probably, I just assume he's like his cousin or something.
He's
that.
You just assume?
I just assume,
So Obi has to come to the diner. He's like, I got some bad news. Your cousin Pong. He went a little crazy.
Well, even Dex is a little shady, It's like...
Oh, yeah, Dex is definitely shady.
Because what did Obi-Wan say is like, it depends on what, Dex, on how good your manners are, how big your pocketbook is, which I never understood that as a kid.
How big your pocketbook is. Yeah, well, yeah, you probably thought it was something else. I will give this episode 2 thumbs up because I had some little minor quibbles, but I liked the fun reveal. Not fun reveal, but the dark reveal. I thought it was done in a really well way with the score or the build up to it. I liked Krell. I liked Taylor brought up that one point that it's like kind of like a Sarlacc that picks him up.
Something like that.
Yeah. And when he's fighting people, there's just some great set pieces, and it's kind of divided into 3 things of the the reveal, taking down Krell, and then the aftermath, and it's done really well. So I would give this 2 thumbs up.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. I do want to shout out in Waxer's death scene. You remember that photo I sent you of Waxer and Boyle with Numa, the alien?
There's a clone named Boyle.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shit name. Boyle on hard copy.
Hard case.
Hard case.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
because that's why Taylor's like, but fucking 5082 Zinger died, and I'm like, who? And who was it again? Who died?
Waxer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. They all look the same. They're all clones. Come on now. They all have suit-face tattoos. But then he sends me this picture of him with this little girl, and remember, it's this one. It's just like, sure, let's just be like if some man died and Taylor sent me a picture. Oh man, this is a guy that served us once at a restaurant. I'd be like, cool. That's really. I feel bad for his family.
You remember that alien, right? You remember the episode now? Yeah, there we go. So
because you sent it to me.
You can when he's dying there, I think it was on his armor, on his helmet. You can see a decal of Numa, that little alien girl that he put on his armor, which is extremely sad. Just to know that.
Yeah. Do you think she knows? They go back. They're like, Waxer died, and she's like, who the fuck is Waxer?
She is in she's in Star Wars Rebels as a character.
Does she talk about Waxer?
I think there is an actual mention of him, or I think she has a nod to him on his armor. I think she has like his clone number or something. I can't remember all the details. I have to watch Rebels, but that's a fun little fact. Did you know why they call fives fives?
No, I didn't.
Because his clone name is CT5555.
CT5555.
That's another thing I want to point out. I love that Krell calls the clones by their numbers because it really catches them off guard. And I don't know how you memorize all those numbers.
He doesn't care, Anything else on this episode?
Just that it's great. I remember when I saw this episode, I met up with my dad, and we were at a coffee shop, and I was playing it for him to watch in the coffee shop, and then we watched it again like another like weeks later, on the big screen like TV. So
and the waitress came over and said, "Put that away. This is a store."
It was at a Starbucks. It was hard to listen and watch it because it was really freaking loud in the Starbucks, but such a good episode, such a good arc. You have to go see it. Even if you don't want to watch the entire Clone Wars, just watch this and you'll get your Clone Wars fix.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm on that same bandwagon as Taylor Field, but
You're more on the Jar Jar episodes, like Jar Jar and Grievous.
No, thank you. There's other episodes I think I would recommend, but they were still a good 4-pack. So, anything else you want to say as we close out this episode of Clone Wars Retrospective?
No, I think that's everything.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. Next week, we're talking about what is the arc talking about? What are we talking about?
The Ahsoka people.
Wow.
The Shocktilians.
Let's see. Carnage of Krell.
Carnage of Krell. We're talking about it. Part 2.
Kidnapped. But this is fun because it's an episode based on a 6-part Star Wars Legend comic, Slaves of the Republic. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about that next 3-episode arc. So, tune into that. Just go down in the description below. You can find our video and audio feeds. If you like what we do here, like we just got a review recently, someone saying they really like this show and they're watching the Clone Wars. That's great. We want you to, hey, if you like that, come over to YouTube, comment, go on Facebook, anything like that, Twitter, comment on the links, have some discussion with us. We love to talk about with you. We can talk about Waxer and, his sad death, apparently. But just subscribe to all the video and podcast feeds down below. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always.